Arlstein, the nightmare room. Open the door to terror. The howler, what will you find in the nightmare room next? Chapter 1. Do you believe in ghosts? I don't believe in them for most of my life, but ever since last winter, I want to live. It's my dream, my most important wish, I think about it every day. I want to see a ghost. I want to talk to a ghost. The ghost's name is Ian. I remember every detail of that frosty cold day last December. The snow was deep and it had a crust on top that crunched when we walked on it. The sun hung low over the trees. It made the snow gleam like a sheet of silver. The snow clung to the branches of the evergreen trees, and the edges were topped with blankets of white. I remember the frozen air burning my cheeks, the fat, fluffy clouds floating like snowmen high in the bright sky. We carried our skates to Wellman Lake. A block from my house. It's not really a lake, it's only a pond. My friend Vanessa was there. We teased her about her pink snowsuit, such a babyish color. She didn't care. She said it was made with real goose down and keep her very warm. I I remember Vanessa red hair glowing in the sunlight and the reflection of the snow in her green eyes. And Scott came along too, curly red-faced Scott, with his black hair while above his head like a fairy hat. He lives in the rundown old house next door to mine. He was bragging about his new CD player and kicking snow on us and telling dumb jokes. Typical Scott. I I didn't I didn't invite Scott to join us. I don't like him very much. Neither does Vanessa. He's so loud and always bragging, and he always wants to pick fights and make bets about stupid things no one else cares about. I think Scott has a special radar, or else he pisses on my house all day, because whenever I got out, there he is. He comes running from his house ready to join in. So there were four of us that day. My cousin Ian was the fourth. His family was staying with us for a few days before going on to Florida for Christmas. I was happy to see him. Ian was my age, 13, and even though we didn't see each other very often, we always got along really well. We were like brothers. Yes, I already have a brother, Victor Nick. Nick is 3 years old man than me, and he treats me like an insect. He wants to squash under his shoe. Nick says that in every family the big brother is the boss and the little brother is the slave. It sounds stupid, but Nick really believes it. So, it's Spencer got to the kitchen and make me a sandwich. And Spencer, I have to go out, type this homework into the computer for me. Spencer, bring me a Coke. Spencer, go see who's at the door. Spencer, can me get a move on. Nick is a lot bigger than me, and he works out, and he's on the wrestling team at school, so I try very hard to stay out of his way. And that's one reason I like to think of Ian as a brother. And now just about every day I remember Ian walking with us to the lake, his boots crunch on the crusty snow and the ice skates I found for him bounced on the shoulders of his down vest as we traveled up the hill and on Marlow Street. Ian looked a lot like me, dark brown hair, brown eyes, serious face, average height, kind of skinny. He had a lot of energy. He was always bouncing up and down and drumming his fingers on things. He couldn't stand or sit still for a minute. I remember we were passing the low stone wall in front of the folk, Faulkner's house. The top of the wall was ice up, and as Scott and I started to walk beside it. But again, leaping to the top of the wall, he did a crazy balancing act, slipping and sliding. His arms waved wildly above his head. We screamed at him to jump down, but the only laugh he was still laughing when he fell off. Luckily, he fell onto his back and in a soft clump of snow-covered bushes. Luckily, thinking about it now makes me feel really sad. I guess that was the only lucky thing that happened that day. Chapter 2. Sorry, guys. Chapter 2. I remember the gray-white ice that covered the lake, so smooth and glassy. Several cawing blackbirds took off from the ice when they saw us coming. A clump of snow fell off an evergreen branch and shattered over the ice. I remember the soft thud it made. So many sounds I remember from that day, some of them so are horrifying. I wanted to hold my ears and shut them out forever. We hurried to pull on our skates. Scott insisted on making us all take off our gloves and run our fingers over the blades on his new skates. He said they were made of titanium, which made them stronger and faster than any other skates. Ian had trouble with knotting his laces. These skates were his his. They were a pair that Nick couldn't wear anymore, so they didn't fit Ian that well. Vanessa helped him with the knotting. Then she was the first one into the ice. Vanessa is a very graceful skater. She skates like a pro. She's a natural athlete. She's a forward on the girls' basketball team on school, and she does track, but she says she's not really into sports. She would rather stay in the studio her parents made for her in their garage and paint. She wants to be an artist someday. I watch Ian go slipping and sliding into the lake. His legs were wobbling like crazy, and he went down laughing, skating on his stomach. These skates won't work, Spencer. He called to me. I can raise them high enough. Have you ever ice skate before? I called. He laughed again. Not really. He pulled down his blue ski cap, and then he was on his feet and skating unsteadily toward Vanessa. She grabbed his hand and guided him slowly over the ice. Soon all four of us were skating. I leaned into the wine, my face burning from the cold. I pressed my gloved hands on my knees and moved beside Vanessa and Ian. We were all gliding easily now. I felt so great. The frozen lake shimmered beneath us. The cold air smelled fresh and sweet. The fat white clouds were so pretty against the sky. We need music. Scott declared. He was skating backwards, doing fast loops, showing off all as usual. None of us had brought a radio, so we started to sing. We sang some songs we knew from the radio and skated along to them. We were singing and laughing at the same time. When did it all go wrong? I guess it started then, when Scott swept Ian's wool cap off his hat. "Keep away!" he shouted, tossing the cap to me. I missed, I missed it and it slid across the ice. Ian and I both stooped toward it, but I came up with it gave it to and hit it to Vanessa. "Hey, give it back!" Ian shouted. His face was bright red from the cold. His dark hair was wet and matted to his forehead. He made a wild grab for the cap, laughing. Vanessa held it up in front of him, then tossed it to Scott. Scott leaped for it, started to fall. The cap flew into the ice right in front of Ian. He grabbed it up and skated away from us. "You guys aren't funny," he said. He leaned forward and skated away. He still had the black cap in his hands when the ice started to crack. It made a loud, long, ripping sound, another sound I'll never forget. I saw the ice breaking under Ian's skates. I didn't even have time to shout. I saw a long block of ice just lined up. I saw Ian's shocked expression, saw his hands fly up. Water splashed into the ice, another loud crack echo of the streets. Ian started to drop. It happened so fast, so terrifyingly fast. I saw his legs sink into the hole in the ice. More water splashed up. His head disappeared. His hands grew for the surface. His black cap sat on the cracked ice like a small, dark animal. But Ian was gone. "No!" Was that me screaming like that? I don't remember screaming and I don't remember skating, but before I realized it, I was racing to the broken ice, racing to the hole, racing to rescue my cousin. And then I was on my knees, leaning over the hole, peering into the dark, splashing water, shouting his name over and over. "Ian! Ian! Ian!" I cried out when his hand appeared like a pale fish in the dark, toes in water. I grabbed his hand, already so cold. "Ian! Ian! Ian!" I was on my stomach, leaning over the jack hole on my stomach, holding onto Ian's hand, tugging, pulling with all my strength. The hand so cold, so slippery. "Ian! Ian! Ian!" I had him. I had his hand. I gave it a hard jerk. "Ian! Your head! Where is your head? Lift your head out, Ian, please." His hand started to slip from mine. I grabbed his wrist, grabbed it with both hands. "Ian! E! E! I can't hold it on! E!" Another crack. I felt the ice move beneath me. A fat plank of ice rose up in front of me, and then the ice below me dropped. I let out a terrible cry. I struggled to hold on. I struggled with all my strength, but Ian's hand fell so lightly. It didn't make a splash, and then I dropped head first into the dark, frozen, churning water. The last thing I saw was a black cat, still sitting safely on the ice. Ian's black cat, safe and sound. And then I floated down, down, down into darkness. Chapter 2 is coming up. Just wait. It's not that far.